Hey guys, Michael Hyatt here. Can you hear me okay? As you can see, I'm playing with a little bit different set today, and I'm further away from the camera, trying to get used to this new Periscope landscape mode, and it's tricky. There's some nuances to it. And by the way, if you guys haven't upgraded to the new Periscope app, you've got to do that to be able to see me in landscape, okay? My name is Michael Hyatt, and this is the Virtual Mentor Show. My goal is to give you the clarity, the confidence, and the tools you need to win at work and to succeed at life. In today's show, I'm going to be talking about my 30-day Periscope experiment and what I've concluded from that. Will I quit? Will I continue? Will I move to another platform? For those of you who read my blog post today, you already know the answer to that, but I'm going to walk through the whole thing during this time. So again, my name is Michael Hyatt. I'm the author of Platform Get Noticed in a Noisy World. I blog at michaelhyatt.com, where I get about 1 million page views a month. I podcast on the This Is Your Life podcast show. You can find it on iTunes or Stitcher. Just search for my name. I get about 300,000 downloads of that a month, and I'd love to have you join me in those different media formats. So, where are you guys from today? Somebody's from Kansas City. Thanks. Your podcast is so valuable. Josh Kircher, Chicago. Awesome. Love the new set. Love that frame pick in the background. Thanks, Eric. My buddy Brandon Triola did that, who's my graphic designer. He gave that to me for a Christmas present. Omaha, Atlanta, Lexington, Maine. I was in Maine this summer. Gail and I were. We loved it. Montana, Florida, Brooklyn, faithchurch.com, Olympia, Vancouver, Missouri. Guys, great to have you today. It's Friday, at least it is in the States, and I'm looking forward to a great weekend. I'm actually flying to New York today for a board meeting tomorrow for a school that I'm on the board of, and it's a little bit weird, surreal to think about flying into New York on 9/11. I can remember exactly where I was on 9/11, 2001. I'll bet you can too. What a traumatic day in our nation's history, and I think really around the world. It's a good thing I'm not superstitious, but I'm going to be really thinking about all those people that we lost, what happened to us individually, and what happened to us as a nation as a result of that, and just remembering those that fell, and those especially those valiant people who gave their lives to help and to support and to try to rescue the people that were in the Twin Towers. So at any rate, I'm still excited about this weekend. I'm looking forward to being with my fellow board members and hanging out with them a little bit. If you're not seeing this in landscape, or if the comments are running the opposite direction from the landscape, it's because you haven't updated to the new Periscope app. So let me encourage you to do that and then come back in. It'll be much easier. But here's a tip that I picked up from Shalene Johnson this morning. And if you're not following Shalene Johnson, at Shalene Johnson, you must do that. She's kind of my scope mentor. I mentioned her in my blog post today. But one of the things that she told me to do, or told all of her followers to do, is that if you'll get the new app and then you hold it on your end in the portrait mode, you'll see my picture at the top, and you'll see the comments underneath. So the comments don't come over the top of this image of me. Okay? So that's just a little tip. Hope that'll help you. I hope you've upgraded. Andy Traub, mine is wonky right now too. Michael, are you finding a way to track conversions from Periscope, such as email signups? Yes. I'll tell you what I do. Although, let me just say, I suck at promoting that. I keep forgetting to promote that. And so let me just do that right now. If you want to get on my email newsletter list, you need to go to V as in virtual, vmentor.tv. This is the short link, vmentor.tv/shave10. And I'll give you a brand new ebook that I've written called Shave 10 Hours Off Your Work Week. You can't buy it. It's only available for free, and it's only available when you subscribe to my email newsletter list. So how was that? What I do is I track that, so I see the clicks that are on that particular link, because I've got a program that I run that keeps track of the clicks on those short links. So when I can remember to do it, I can definitely see an uptick. So Bold Turquoise, what is the problem you're having? Andy Traub says weird, or he didn't say weird, somebody saying to him, did you restart after the update? I will say this. Thought it was a discount to Harry's Shave Club. Nope, Andy. I know some people are having problems with the new Periscope because it can be a little buggy, but yeah, so you just kind of have to, I think we have to be patient as they work through it. I know that Catch, KATCH.me, that archives all my scopes, hasn't quite got the landscape figured out. I did hear from the developer today, and he said they're working on it. So I think they were caught a little flat-footed when Periscope pushed the update yesterday. Embrace Only Love says, I got 77 new subscribers from first 4 weeks on Periscope. Awesome. Guys, let me just tell you a couple things that I think will be helpful to you and to me. If you want to share this podcast, that's it, podcast, this scope, if you want to share this scope, just swipe left to right on your screen and click on the share button. Here's the cool thing. You can share it to just your followers. You can share it on Twitter, or now you can share it on Facebook. And I'll see when you share it, like Kevin M. Wall just invited his followers to this, and Bold Turquoise just invited his followers. So if you do that, I'll know it, and it'll also bring more people into the fold so more people can participate. Eric Fisher invited his followers. Thank you, Eric. Boy, a lot of people. Casey shared on Facebook. Thanks for doing that. Eric shared on Facebook. Jamie invited his followers. Eric shared it on Twitter. Real Chris Pylan shared it on Twitter. Fantastic, guys. So that's how you share it. Just swipe left to right on the iPhone or bottom to top if you're on a Android device. Not left to right on landscape. It's down to up. Okay, good to know. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out as we go, too. So I'm trying to figure out this landscape thing, and I hope I'm positioned in the frame where I need to be. Honestly, if you do what I said and hold your phone in portrait mode, I'll be at the top, and it doesn't really matter if I'm over here or over here. The comments won't roll past my face. But if you want to watch it in landscape mode on your phone, I think I'm still positioned so that the comments are rolling on the other side of it. But guys, I'm thrilled to be here. Again, my name is Michael Hyatt. This is the Virtual Mentor Show. My goal is to give you the clarity, the confidence, and the tools you need to win at work and to succeed at life. And if you're tired of drifting and ready to start living a designed life where you're intentional about every area of your life, you're in the right place. And today I want to talk about my 30-day Periscope experiment. Because believe it or not, I've been doing it for 30 days. This is my 31st scope session, and I've come to some conclusions about it. I'm going to talk about that for about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to open it to questions. But I'm also going to reveal in this particular Periscope, and this is why you might want to stay around, I'm going to reveal my content strategy. Where does Periscope fit into my content strategy? And I've done a 180 on one important element of that just in the last 24 hours, and I'm going to share that with you too. My team doesn't even know this, okay? So that could be dangerous, I want to tell you. And I may have to backpedal on this, but I'm pretty convinced. Okay, Bold Turquoise says, 6 weeks for me and my biggest growth across any platform. Yeah, I'm loving the growth I'm seeing, but more importantly, I'm loving the engagement that I'm seeing, and I'm going to talk about some of the things I've learned. So 30 days ago, I read a couple of blog posts, and I read one, I can't remember who it was by, they were just raving about Periscope, and for whatever reason, I kind of pigeonholed it in my head as kind of like Snapchat, which I totally don't get. Maybe I just, I need to explore that some more. But I didn't understand why I'd want to do these short video snippets, so I just kind of sequestered Periscope off onto that part of my brain that, this is not relevant to me. Then I read a Chris Brogan post, and he said that Periscope was the least interesting thing to him, and he wasn't interested. I don't know if he's changed his position on that. That was probably about 5 weeks ago when I read that. But oddly, probably contrary to what Chris thought, that actually piqued my interest in Periscope because he described what it does. And I thought, I think I need to check that out. There may be something here. And I love Chris. I have tremendous respect for him. But for some reason, whatever reason, it just resonated with me, and I thought, I'm going to check this out. So I did. And you know how when you go into Periscope, it kind of automatically presents you with a list of the people that you follow, and you may want to follow on Periscope. Well, most of those people, obviously, aren't Periscoping. And I follow a very small number of people, honestly. I've got about, 260,000 followers on Twitter, but I don't follow very many of them because I can't keep up with everything. So what I decided to do was to follow my friend Shalene Johnson. I decided to follow Chris Ducker and a few others. I discovered other people later like Eric J. Fisher, whom I love, like Christine Dwyer. I really enjoy her podcast. Like Andy Traub, his Periscope sessions. If I say podcast, I just lost my mind. I really mean Periscope. And so I saw that Shalene and Chris were killing it. And I almost instantly saw the potential for it. And this is why I started the experiment. Because what I said to myself initially was, I said, this Periscope thing is stupid. But after I watched a few, I said to my team, I said, this may be the greatest leadership tool ever invented. Now, I've gone on the record and I've said that about Twitter. This is like 10x Twitter. And I'm going to tell you why in just a minute. But I saw this enormous opportunity for leaders to be able to expand their influence, to increase their impact, and maybe to drive some of their business goals as well. So I thought, okay, that's a hypothesis. Let's just give it a try. And to be honest, my team was not real enthusiastic about me giving up 30 minutes a day, knowing that it was probably more like 45 minutes or an hour by the time I prepared, by the time I kind of got in the frame of mind, and by the time I checked the comments after the Periscope. And so they weren't real enthusiastic. So this is the way I work with my team too. I say, let's just try it. And honestly, it's good for me too, because if it were up to me, I'm a INFJ on the Myers-Briggs. That J is really strong, and it means that I get to decisions quickly and sometimes impulsively, and sometimes I make decisions that aren't in the best interest of me or the company because I can be impulsive like that. And so I said, look, let's just slow this down. Let's just try it for a test. I talked to him about it at our strategic planning retreat. And so I gave it a shot. And so I've been all in for the last 30 days. And can I tell you, I love it. I'm more enthusiastic about it today than I've ever been in the last 30 days. Because I think I've realized the potential. I think I've gotten more comfortable with it. Somebody's responding. I guess Madeline Lemon, my daughter, is on here. Kara says she's an INFJ. Yay, there's not many of us. I'm an ENFJ, which is just the extroverted version. Yeah. So I love Periscope. Now, I want to tell you about 4 benefits. Thanks for blowing me that kiss, Madeline. I want to tell you about 4 benefits that I've experienced in the last 30 days from Periscope. And I've got my notes over here on my iPad mini, and let me just give these to you. Number 1, it's provided me with the opportunity to become more comfortable in front of a video camera. Hey guys, have you tried Periscope as a broadcaster? Give me a yes if you have. I would just love to know how many of you tried this, because I'm going to share something about how I experienced it for the first time, but I want to know if it's relevant to anybody. Michelle, thank you for sharing this on Twitter. Yes, yes, yes. Don, yes. Yes, yes. Somebody's on scope number 78. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, fantastic. Okay, here's the deal. I was so scared on my first, I would say probably 3 or 4 or 5 scopes. And whenever I start feeling something that I'm really resistant to like that it scares me, I know I must dive in. Here's why. I don't want to be held hostage by my fears. And I know that when I'm beginning to get afraid, that I'm moving out of my comfort zone into my discomfort zone, and that's where all the great stuff happens. That's where the growth takes place. That's where your business leaps forward. That's where the answers to your prayers are. It's in the discomfort zone, not the comfort zone. So I felt a lot of fear about it, and I thought, wow, okay, there's something here because I'm getting all this resistance to it. So I did what I always do when I get afraid. I just took the next action. And, I've said before, I've said 1,000 times, I'm not the only one that says this, courage is not the absence of fear. You just have to act in spite of your fear. That's really what courage is acting in spite of your fear. So I did it. And oh my gosh, I still don't feel 100% comfortable, trying to read all these comments that are, running by so fast and trying to keep up with, the hearts that are going over here. Thank you guys for the heart love. All this stuff. It's a lot to keep up with. But you know what? I'm gaining a new capability. And this is the first benefit for me at Periscope. I'm really gaining a new capability, I think. I think I'm getting more comfortable in front of the camera. I'm able to think better on my feet. I'm able to package it in a way as I deliver it to you. I get immediate feedback, all that stuff. I'm going to talk about some more of that in a minute. But I think I love what it's doing for my capability, what I'm learning. Sarah's on. I can see you, Sarah. Thanks for joining us today. And yeah, I think that's going to be huge. So here's where the rubber's going to meet the road. Next week, my video producer, Dean Rainey, is flying in from Toronto. So he's coming with his crew. We're going to be shooting the launch videos for the best year ever, the course for this year. So that's going to launch in December, and we're going to be shooting the launch videos following Jeff Walker's product launch formula format. You know, we've done this a gazillion times now, and I can't wait to do it. But I'm hoping Dean's going to be impressed with my new capability, that I feel a little more comfortable, that it's not so nerve-wracking to me, that I actually enjoy the process. And sometimes you have to do something for a while before you can enjoy it. So if you're a leader and you're uncomfortable with the video, I would just say this. You must, absolutely must, do Periscope. When you put in hour after hour after hour, day after day after day, it's going to get comfortable, right? And any new thing that requires any effort is going to be uncomfortable at the beginning. But that's the first benefit. Okay. Yeah, Christine said she loved Jeff Walker's stuff. And by the way, sidebar here. I'm a little ADD today. Jeff Walker's new video series, it's free, and you can learn so much from it. Jeff is the guy that really taught me how to launch products. I've used it for 2 years. He's literally made me, and this is not hype, okay, millions of dollars from product launches that I've done using his formula. And you can sign up for his free videos. Even if you don't buy his course, you will learn so much in these videos. It'll blow your mind. It'll shift your paradigm. It'll give you a whole new way of thinking about your business. And you can sign up for it here. Ready? vmentor, V as in virtual, vmentor.tv/Jeff. vmentor.tv/Jeff. These videos are going to be up for about the next 9 days, and then they're going to go away forever. So don't miss this opportunity. Write that down. Get in on it while it's free. Obviously, Jeff is hoping that you'll like it so much that you'll buy his course. But even if you don't buy his course, I'm telling you, it's phenomenal, phenomenal training. Okay, thanks, guys, for putting that in the chat area. Okay, so let's go to the first benefit is that it provided me with an opportunity to become more comfortable in front of a video camera. Second benefit I've seen from Periscope is that it's provided me with an opportunity to interact with my followers, with you guys, in real time. I mean, that's huge. One of the things that absolutely captivated me when I started blogging in 2004 is that I could get comments from people. In fact, I don't even think I had a commenting system initially, but people would email me. And then I got a commenting system, and then I graduated to discuss, and now I don't have comments on my blog for reasons we don't have time to go into. But I loved the feedback, and I still love that in social media today. But here's the kicker. Periscope blows this through the roof. Why? Because I can see all the stuff here that you guys are writing. You know, Geisha to Jesus saying, that's awesome. Jess says, love the feedback too. Georgia says, I love that you're interacting with us daily. I love that too. I'm addicted to it. But I love that I get feedback. And after every scope session, again, don't tell my team this because it takes more time than I want to tell them. But I like to go back and review all the comments. And I can do that on Catch. And I can see what people are saying. I can see what resonated. And it gives me tons of ideas for new product creation, for new content creation, and all that. Yeah, somebody said, I love that you can survey and get feedback. Emily said, your scopes are my absolute favorites. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. So that's the second benefit, is being able to get real-time feedback from incredible people like you that are willing to invest the time and really communicate with me. And you guys have been so kind and so awesome in sharing your input with me. So that's the second benefit. Let me just look at my notes. Third benefit. This sounds maybe a little selfish, but if you're building an online business, it's key. I think it's enabled people to experience the real me. Here's what I mean by that. And by the way, the more authentic you are, the more you'll connect, right? And the more you connect, the more you build trust, the more you can sell people stuff. And I don't just mean monetarily. If you're trying to sell an idea or a point of view, you're selling. And the thing that I like about Periscope is it enables you to build trust so that people more readily buy your point of view, your message, and yes, even your products. But they've got to see the authentic you. So let's look at a couple of other media formats where I think they also build trust. Blogging certainly built my authority. I think in a sense it built my trust with my audience as I tried to add value day after day. That built trust because I did that for years without asking for anything in return. I didn't even know you could monetize a platform until about 5 years into it. I totally missed that. But I gave stuff away, and I built authority, and I built trust. So that was great. But it was one-dimensional. I'm going to talk about that more in just a minute. Actually, I'm going to do it right here. So blogging is one-dimensional. It's just words, right? And, you get a sense of people, and their personality, their voice can be injected into it, but it's one dimension. Then I decided about 3 years ago to podcast, and that brought in a second dimension. So now we have words, but now you get the audio. So you hear my voice, my inflection, a little more of my enthusiasm. I remember one of the first things that somebody told me after hearing one of my podcasts, they said, I didn't realize you had a sense of humor. For whatever reason, that just didn't come out in my writing. But when I was on a podcast, I felt a little freer to express myself, and that came out. So I think that podcasting was another level up. And then I added video podcasting last year. So now we have words, we have audio, and we have video. And now with Periscope, we get all of that, those three dimensions in real time with real feedback. And I think that, you guys watch me. I make mistakes. I gaffe. I use the wrong words. I've had my wife on. I've had my daughter, Marissa, on. I've had at least one of my grandsons on. I thought I was going to have another one on today, but he left before we started. And I just think it gives you a chance to experience the authentic me. Now, what does that mean for you as a leader? The more authentic and real you can be with people, the more connection you're going to build. The more connection you build, the more trust you're going to build. The more trust you build, the more you're going to be able to influence them, and I think in a transformational way. So being authentic is crucial. And leaders that are not taking advantage of this are making a huge mistake. This technology is free. Now, I get that the time's not free. I'm making an investment of 30 minutes to do a scope. But it's so worth it, I think. Kathy said she saw me speak at World Domination Summit 2014, enjoyed it. Awesome. Thank you. I loved doing that particular conference. It's a fantastic one. My friend Chris Gillibo does that. Okay, so fourth benefit is it produces or provides an opportunity to create even more transformation. I kind of alluded to this already, but Periscope provides an opportunity to create even more transformation. And here's how I think about it. When I write a blog post, that goes out to, like I said, I have about 1 million page views a month. And it takes people on average about 2 minutes to read through a blog post. So if they read all my blog posts, I only do 2 a week now, Monday and Friday. I do my podcast on a Wednesday. They got 4 minutes. I have 4 minutes to influence them. So broad reach, but very little engagement. Okay? Podcasting's better. So my podcast, downloaded by about 300,000 people a month, and that's called This Is Your Life. You can find it on iTunes and Stitcher. That's a 30-minute weekly podcast. Here's the cool thing. Earbuds, people are listening to it with earbuds in their ears, usually. It doesn't get much more intimate than that. Now, it's not 1 million page views. It's 300,000, so a little bit less reach, about a third of the reach, right? But more engagement, more commitment on the part of the people that are participating. But then we go to Periscope. So I've got about 16,000 followers at last count. And by the way, if you're not following me, please do that. All you got to do is, I can't remember now if it's swipe left to right or bottom to top, but click the follow button and follow me. Would you do that? And I've got about 16,000 followers. On any given Periscope, there'll be about 1,500 to 2,500 viewers. And by the way, that little number, right now I'm looking down in the lower right-hand corner over here, that's showing 431. That's how many people are on right now, but people are coming and going, okay? So 1,500 to 2,500, but I'm broadcasting 2.5 hours a week. So even less reach than the podcast, certainly way more or way less reach than the blog, but exponentially more engagement. That, I believe, creates the opportunity for transformation. Now, here's my formula. More access plus more investment equals greater transformation. Okay, let me say that again. More access plus more investment equals greater transformation. Now, can I wax spiritual for just a minute? This is why Jesus didn't come in the age of social media when he could have reached bazillions of people, but only an inch deep. Instead, he invested himself in 12 people. And within a few years, he turned the world upside down. So much so that every culture, almost every culture in the world today, sets its calendar by his birth. Okay? So if you want to create massive change, cultural impact, the secret is to go deeper with a few. Do you guys get that? Okay? So, I can't give the same access to everybody, but Periscope allows me to give it to more people than ever before. If you want, you can spend a half an hour a day with me. I mean, that's more than I spend sometimes with my own staff. You can spend a half an hour a day with me. It costs you something, right? There's an investment of time. It costs me something. There's an investment of time. But I think there's a possibility for greater transformation. And by the way, I think my courses, just so you know how it fits in the whole model, my courses, my membership site, my Inner Circle Mastermind, all that stuff gets progressively more access to me, requires a bigger investment from the people that are participating in those, but there's massive transformation, especially in the mastermind. It's unbelievable. Okay, we may run over on this scope a little bit. If you guys have to bail early, that's fine. But I'm going to talk about my content strategy a little bit here. So I'm going to continue to do my blog just like I've always been. 2 days a week, Monday and Friday, original content. And then we promote, by the way, did you guys catch me looking over here? Because I forgot the camera wasn't over there. It's over here. So I've got a little piece of tape on my iPad. Remind me to look there, but I'm forgetful. I'm still learning, training myself. So I'll continue to blog 2 times a week with original content. My blog for me is my intellectual workbench. It's where I frame up new ideas. I try new things out. Everything in my world starts as a blog post. Then I'm going to continue to do my podcast. I'm going to be doing that once a week on a Wednesday like I have been doing for the last about year and a half. And I'm recording them in batch mode. So Michelle Cashat, yay Michelle, she's coming back for season 6. She'll be here week after next. We'll spend 2 days in the studio I'm sitting in right now recording 13 episodes back to back. So that'll be season 6. So yeah, I'm super pumped. By the way, we're going to spend the entire first episode talking about what Michelle has gone through. You guys will not believe it. She has been to hell and back and lived to tell about it. And I've heard a few interviews that she's done. I mean, I'm in tears within 5 minutes. It's going to blow your mind. In fact, we may have to change this to the Michelle show, and I'll just interview her because she's got so much unbelievable insight. Phenomenal. So the podcast is still going to continue at its current pace of 1 a week. I am thinking about adding a second podcast, but I don't want to talk about that now because it's not quite ready for prime time. Then the third thing is going to be Periscope. And here's what I've decided to do. After a lot of discussion with my team, after a lot of thinking about this, after discussing it with Gail, my wife, here's what I'm committed to doing. You guys ready for this? I'm going to continue to broadcast 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, for the foreseeable future. But I'm going to give myself permission that if I get in a busy season, like when we're launching or when we're doing other stuff, that I can miss a day here or there. But I'm going to really try to be faithful to you guys because I want to show up for you and I want to be just that person that you can count on. So I'm going to do this 5 days a week, Monday through Friday at 12:30 Central. Okay? Now there's going to be some days that the time has to move. Like today. I'm flying to New York this afternoon. I couldn't do it at 12:30 and make my flight. So we're doing it at 11 a.m. Central Time. So hopefully you guys will flex with that and we'll announce it on social media so that you'll know. The other thing I promised to tell you guys is kind of a shift in my whole content development strategy, and I need to talk to Joel Miller, who's my Chief Content Officer, about this, and he's on vacation, which, by the way, would probably be a good time to make a change, because, I mean, what can he do about it, right? Just kidding, Joel. But I'm thinking about using Periscope, kind of like I used to use the blog, where I would deliver to you guys original new content, new frameworks that I'm thinking of, new insights that I have, and then from that, create my blog posts and my podcast. What do you guys think about that idea? Do you think that's a better idea, or should I continue to hammer out ideas on the blog? Because I kind of think of myself more as a writer. Andy says, perfect, Mike. Restore to Serve says, please do. Clay says, cool. Andy says, best way to refine your message. Sometimes when I talk about it out loud, it gives me a chance to really frame things up. I love this quote. I don't know who I got it from, but it says, thoughts disentangle themselves, flowing over the lips and through pencil tips. And I think that's true. If you want more clarity, write it down or talk it out. Yeah, still do the blogs. Jonathan, I'm absolutely going to still do the blogs. We will help you as you help us. Thank you. Daryl says, a good quote, good plan. And the comments will fill in the gaps of your ideas. Yeah, so like whenever I have a gap in my thinking, all I have to do is stop and read your fantastic comments. Christine says, new ideas. Yes. Sarah says, I may have respected your words, but now I know you, the person. Hashtag it matters. Thank you. It does matter, I think. Any other questions about what I'm proposing to do? I know somebody asked me today on Twitter, and I didn't really answer him. I actually had a long section on this post when I was writing it last night about Blab. How many of you are on Blab? That's another platform, by the way, if you don't know it. You can find it at blab.im. How many of you are on Blab? Blab is a cross between platform and blab. Nope, me. No Blab, me. Yeah, so I had this section about Blab and what my intentions were there, but I thought, you know what? This is kind of half-baked. I haven't really thought it through yet. But I was on a Blab broadcast this week with Joel Kahn. And Joel's a master at this. And Joel and I have spoken together at a couple conferences, and when I said I was considering it, and actually Mike Stelzner at Social Media Marketing World was the guy that put me on to Blab, and he said, you ought to try it. And Joel said, why don't you come on my show and you get a feel for it? But it's kind of like Periscope, except that you can have up to 4 people on at the same time, split screen, kind of like the Brady Bunch, if you can remember that. I guess that dates me. But one in each window, and you get to choose as the broadcaster who comes on and who doesn't. So a lot of my longtime followers were on that particular Blab session. I've never met these people before face-to-face. I didn't know what they looked like. I hadn't interacted with them personally. They came on to make comments and to ask me questions. Oh my gosh. Blew my mind. But here's the deal. I don't want to get too unfocused. It's like people say, do I need a blog and a podcast and Periscope? Do I need to be on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram? If you try to do all of that at one time, you're going to feel overwhelmed and you're going to fail. I love this quote that says, it's a Chinese proverb actually, man who chases 2 rabbits catches neither. And so I don't want to jump into Blab quite yet. I may start with a weekly show there where I can bring on people like you and you can actually ask me in real time. Madeline says, do you think you risk overexposure by being live every day? Madeline, by the way, is my 4th daughter. She also happens to work for me. And Madeline, are you asking this because it's a question you actually have, or it's because a question somebody has asked you? And trust me, I have thought about this. I mean, here's what I thought. I thought, gosh, if I'm on every day, are people going to get tired of me? I mean, honestly, I could get tired of me. I do get tired of me. But I don't know. I mean, time will tell. You know, if this starts to hurt the sales of our products, I actually don't think that's going to happen. But if it does hurt the sales of our products, I'm going to have to dial it back. Does Blab save broadcasts? Yes, it does. How do you get watchers and keep them? I'm new. Well, I think one of the things is you got to have a pretty juicy title in your Periscope before you start. And then you got to deliver content. You know, it needs to be thought out a little bit. I think having points, major rationale for what you're saying, give people a framework. Sarah says, I think Blab is a great tool to have in our toolbox. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking the same thing. Emily says, how often would you recommend scoping and how much prep do you do? Great question, Emily. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. I think everybody is trying to figure this out. For me, I'm thinking daily. I know there are some people. I think that the Charlene Johnson, whom you absolutely, I said Charlene. Gosh, Shalene, I'm so sorry. I know you hate it when people do that. I don't know what got into me. But Shalene Johnson, you must follow her. But Shalene was doing it several times a day. And I don't know if she's still doing it several times a day. I usually catch her at least once a day. Her husband's doing it now. But I think it's probably like blogging, and here's my advice. Consistency is more important than frequency. That you show up on a consistent basis, if you're trying to build trust and authority, I think is critical. I saw an Andy Traub comment blow by here a minute ago where he said, building community won't hurt me, and I think that's exactly what this does, is it builds community. Greg, don't be too hard on me about Charlene, and please don't tell her. Vivian, I had hecklers because they believe in a different tradition. How do you handle that? I think that Periscope needs a better way to monitor the comments. What I would love to see is kind of an administrator mode where you could let a second person log in, like Madeline, my daughter's on this call, or on this scope, and she could log in and just block inappropriate comments. But until then, you just kind of do your best to block them on the fly, and it's tough. I do get some of those from time to time. It's frustrating, but I can always get them in catch.me. I can always go back and scroll through the comments, and if somebody said something inappropriate, I click on the link, and I ban them right there. So I get the last word. Yeah, you can block and replay so they don't return. Yes, and I've noticed that recently if you block them, then they disappear from the replay as well. Christine says, I haven't noticed it as much, heavier in the beginning. Yeah, I've noticed that too. So hopefully they're getting past that. Brene Brown says, don't try to win over the haters. You're not the jackass whisperer. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Is that in her new book, Rising Strong? Because I'm not all the way through it yet. That's fantastic. Yeah, somebody said like whack ample. I think you meant by whack-a-mole. Yeah, exactly. Great quote. I'm going to totally steal that. I may even reference Brene Brown the first 3 times. Then it's mine. Yeah, love Brene Brown. So, guys, I think we're about out of time. Let me just take 2 more questions. If you've got a couple questions, and then I'll let you get back to your day, and I'll get back to packing for my trip to New York today. My eyes keep drifting to the right. How do you record the sessions? Okay, that's a great question. I think that was Amy. It scrolled by fast. The way you record them is that they're already being recorded. You can actually, in the Periscope settings, and I haven't checked this in the new one, but you can say save to your camera roll, and it'll save them. But what I do, the way I'm recording them, is I use ScreenFlow, and I record them off my iPhone, and I do the replay and record the screen on my iPhone, and that's how I get those on my YouTube channel, how I load my Periscopes up to that. Catch.me, if you connect that to your account, it'll automatically grab them, but they haven't quite figured out the landscape mode yet. Okay. Somebody said, would you recommend the launch course, Jeff Walker's Product Launch Formula, even for your very first product? Yes. And here's why. Because one of the things that Jeff will teach you to do is how to launch a product you don't have to a list you don't have. Did you hear me? I want to say that again. Jeff will teach you how to launch a product you don't have to a list you don't have. It's never too early to get the product launch formula, and it's definitely not too early to subscribe to his free video training. I would just give that a shot and see what you think. And again, you can find that at thementor.tv/Jeff. Okay? Somebody said, embrace only love, invest in launch formula, or coach. Those are kind of 2 different things. It depends on where you are. I can't make that determination for you. Again, I would watch the free videos, see what you think, and then you can decide for yourself. Maybe it's not either or, maybe it's both and, or maybe it is either or. I don't know. I really believe in coaches, but Jeff's product launch formula is just a different kind of coaching, right? So it may not be a one-on-one coach, but it's definitely coaching. Okay? Andy says, Mike, a woman was here today while she's in labor. That's real-time community. Oh my gosh, unbelievable. Okay, I got to run. As much as I love this, I hope this is good news, and I'm going to continue scoping. I love being with you guys. You guys, I feel like, are my real community, and so thank you so much for joining me today. And God willing, I'll see you on Monday. Do me a favor. Make this a great day. Hug and love on your family this weekend and spend some time just reflecting and rejuvenating and getting refreshed for the week ahead. Love you. Bye.